stretched. Getting ready. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for this? Da-na-na-na. Left St. Pete yesterday. Went to Ian's. Watched the last 3 quarters of the game. And, listening to the post-game show with Tom Krasnicki over on WDAE and watching social media and listening to what everybody has to say. I want to start off by saying this. And I mentioned this on social media yesterday. I was one of the loudest defenders of Todd Bowles because I felt that the team has improved, the team has gotten better, and the things that we did not appreciate with him, he's shown an openness to change. He brought in a guy to help with the clock. He changed some of the defensive staff. And he's a leader. He's a leader that when things go wrong for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, there's no fracture. And you still really don't see the fracture now. So, you can laud him for that, even currently with this team not playing so well. But I am always going to keep it 100 with you guys. And I am going to always be honest and transparent. And the things that I've defended Todd Bowles for, nowhere to be found yesterday. I am not a Todd Bowles hater. None of what I'm going to say today is personal. Just because I speak with energy and emotion doesn't mean that I'm taking it personal. But it is what it is. And we cover this team and we care about this team. We put energy into this team. So yeah, at times if you get a little emotional about it, it's, it is what it is. But the leadership core for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers has to wear this today. The blame goes on everybody. A useless conversation about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is if you're trying to say, well, how much to blame is Baker Mayfield? How much to blame is Todd Bowles? How much to blame is Jason Licht? How much to blame is the players? It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. Everybody's to blame. Everybody. It's not just Todd. It's not just Jason Licht. It's not just Baker. It's not just the players. It's everybody. Everybody. So when people want to say, well, if you blame Todd, don't forget about the players. Or if you play the players, don't get rid of, don't forget about Todd. Nobody's forgetting anybody. How can you forget anything from what you saw yesterday? An absolutely pathetic performance from the Buccaneers. There's thousands of people in the Tampa Bay area that went to the freaking game and sat in that shitty weather and sat there the whole freaking time. And that's the kind of effort that they put out there? Who's in charge of that? Todd Bowles is in charge of that. He's got to wear it. The players, they're the ones that are out there. They have to wear it. Why did it look like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the only team playing in the rain yesterday? Baker Mayfield and the Bucs looked so bothered. My 13-year-old team was 1-9, and they went and won a game in the rain in St. Pete yesterday. 13-year-olds showed more heart than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did yesterday. That's bullshit. That's not good enough. You lost to a team that was 2-10. It didn't look like the weather was bad enough for Tyler Shuck. It didn't look like the weather was bad enough for Carl Granderson. All these excuses about this guy and this guy. Well, the defense and the injuries and all that other shit. I don't want to hear it. If Todd Bowles is a defensive guru, bro, you had Antoine Winfield Jr., you had Vita Vea, you had Levante David, you had Hassan Reddick until he got hurt, you had Yaya Diaby, you had Zion, you had Jamel Dean, you had Tyke Smith until he got hurt. What's the excuse? You're getting beat over the middle time and time and time and time and time again. Change your scheme. Do something. As much as you want to blame Jason Licht, and I do, it's so weird. We get in this weird habit in Tampa. I don't know why it's like this. If a guy does well and then he doesn't do well, people have just been waiting with the pitchforks to get rid of Todd Bowles. Waiting. I don't like his demeanor, which I think is just the biggest bullshit thing that anybody could say. I don't care about anything. I don't care. what his demeanor is on the sidelines. He's not out there playing. Everybody's scared to say Jason Licht has not done a good enough job of bringing in pass rushers to this team. He hasn't. He hasn't done a good job of putting some speed at the linebacker position. Levante David does not look like the same guy. Missed tackle on third down along the right sideline. You just can't do that. Everybody and their mother was telling me, don't you remember before the season when I said, are we sure about the linebacker situation? Are we sure that this is a depth? This is depth. We got depth there. That's the position group with the most depth. That's what they told us. Seriously? Don't pour water on my head and tell me it's raining. Savasier Dennis is a guy, everybody and their mother, well, if he's back from his shoulder, he can cover. Look at how bad the defense was when he went out last year. Maybe the defense is just bad. Savasier Dennis, I don't get it. I don't get it. If you're Todd Bowles, again, I've defended Todd because he's a hell of a leader, a great guy, and I do think part of it has to do with Jason Licht not bringing more people in here. Fine. We'll stay with that, right? Stay on that line of thinking, okay? Listen to me. As a coach, and I'm saying this from experience, not at the professional level, but at any level, your job as a coach is to do what? Put your players in a position to succeed. And if you keep running a defense as if you have a four-man defensive line that can rush the passer without a blitz and you don't want to change and your team gets sliced and diced over and over and over again from quarterbacks from Matthew Stafford, who could be MVP, to Tyler Mother and Shuck, that is on you, Todd. That is on you. You have to change. I am sick and tired of watching Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick dropping into coverage. You can't rush the passer. So drop those guys into coverage? What sense does that make? If your defense is only good when you could rush four, then you got to change or you're going to get your head bashed in. Time and time and time again. Over the middle. Holy shit, man. If you had $1 for every no-name receiver that has beaten the Buccaneers over the middle this year, you might be able to buy the goddamn race. Holy shit. I just don't understand what I'm watching yesterday. And it's on everybody. It's on everybody. Everybody gets a slice of blame cake today. It's on Todd. It's on Jason Licht. They were on their third string right tackle at the end of the game yesterday. Does Yaya Diaby beat the third string right tackle when he's going up one-on-one? No. And everybody and their mother going into this season, because that's the cool freaking thing to do in Tampa, is to say that this guy, insert name here, as the pass rusher is going to be a 10-sack guy. You said it about Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. Wrong. You said it about Chris Braswell. Wrong. You said it about Yaya Diaby. Wrong. Wrong. Not good enough. Players, coaching, front office. Jason Licht values these draft picks. Fine. But we all know to build a good team, to build a great team, you need a complement. You need to be able to win through the draft. You need to be able to trade some guys. You need to be able to sign for a free agent. And I know everybody loves their draft picks because you look at Tristan Wirfs and you look at Antoine Winfield Jr. But let's not forget, the Buccaneers signed Tom Brady in free agency. The Bucs trade for Rob Gronkowski. They brought in Antonio Brown. They didn't draft any of those guys. They brought in Ndamukong Suh. They traded for Jason Pierre-Paul. What are we talking about? It's not just on the draft. You got to go out and make a splash move. Now, do you want to go all the way on the other side and say F them picks? Most of the time, that doesn't work. Look at the Lightning. Trade after trade after trade. We'll worry about the picks when we get there. Now you see a little bit of a change, right? It's a combination. It's a combination. You have to invest from within. You got to build. You got to cultivate the farm system. I understand that. But when you have glaring needs on your defense and you have not been able to draft guys in those spots, utilize your other resources to make your team better. Why don't you go out and get a Robert Spillane last year that's a tackling machine to help your defense? Why not go get a pass rusher, any pass rusher? Get Jalen Phillips, get anybody. Do something to help this team out. There's so many pieces on this team that is a win now. This is how Mike Evans and Levante David's last season is going to end. With this bullshit, losing at home, you're not beating the Panthers both games. You're going to miss the playoffs in the worst division of football again? This team's going to look a whole hell of a lot different next year. I would not be surprised at all as if this team misses the playoffs and Bowles is gone, Grizzard is gone. He's getting it in a second. Evans is gone and Levante is gone. And it's a completely different team next year. Josh Grizzard is catching some heat too. What are we talking about the hot hand with the running back situation? If a guy's running hard, keep him out there. You're not doing the hot hand thing. Sean Tucker looked good. All of a sudden, we don't see him. Bucky Irving gets hurt again, comes out of the game. He goes back in. There's no rhyme or reason. You know what the hot hand, you know when you say the hot hand, you know what that means? I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just going to do what I feel like is good. No continuity whatsoever. Nothing. When I look at Josh Grizzard, I look at one of the main components of why this offense has no identity this year. He is so much more like Dave Canales than Liam Cohen. It is sickening. Sickening. Let me tell you this. What was the final score of the game yesterday? What was the final score? It was 24-20. Can anybody tell me when the Buccaneers got the ball back at the end of the game? Tell me how much time was left. Does anybody know? It was 1:50. There was more than 1 minute and 50 seconds on the clock. And instead of little chunk plays here and there, and instead of a dump off, maybe even running the freaking football, with no Ben Bredesen and no Tristan Wirfs, what does Josh Grizzard have Baker Mayfield do on 3 consecutive plays? Drop back and have these long extended routes where you have to wait for guys to come open. Like you have to get 80 freaking yards in 12 seconds. What kind of bullshit is that? What are we talking about? Is everybody watching the same game? Why did they do that? Run a bubble screen. Do something. Handoff. Something. Earlier in the game, 4th and 1. A toss in the rain? What are we doing? You can't run the ball up the middle. You just couldn't do it 2-3 freaking weeks ago in New Orleans. You're trying to do it again. You get stuffed. What is going on? For all those people that talk about Todd Bowles not doing the right thing, Josh Grizzard is just as culpable. Well, he's out there and he's with the team last year and he helped on 3rd downs and blah, 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 blah. Whatever, dude. Whatever. Whatever. Do something. He's not the answer as offensive coordinator. One and done. One and done for me. Emeka Ibuka dropping the football, not good enough. Chris Godwin bobbling that play on 4th down along the sideline, not good enough. So you notice that I'm interweaving everybody today. Everybody's catching smoke from Jay Recher today. Because you're going to get these weird juxtapositions, these dichotomies of people that try to analyze the Buccaneers. And they try to separate it. And they go, well, it's the coaching and it's the players. It's not. It's everybody. Y'all sucked yesterday. Everybody. Everybody gets a slice of this cake. Jason Licht, Todd Bowles, Josh Grizzard, every single one of the freaking players. The only guys that I look at yesterday and I think, you're going to pass. Bucky Irving and Rashad White and Sean Tucker. That's it. That's it. Kate Otten, you need 10 yards. Why are you running a route at 9.5? Mind-boggling. And I'm going to tell you this right now, because nobody ever wants to talk about this shit. Nobody. I haven't heard one person say this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tyler Shough, a quarterback on a 2-10 team that couldn't beat Spencer Rattler out to start the season for the lowly New Orleans Saints, outplayed Baker Mayfield. And I don't know what it is about everybody in Tampa when it comes to Baker Mayfield. For all those people that are out there calling for Todd Bowles' job, everybody's silent as a church mouse when it comes to the play of Baker Mayfield the last 6 weeks. Now, sure, can he escape the pocket and show a lot of heart and run for first downs? Fine. Great. Good. Great. Grand. Wonderful. Your first job is a quarterback. Accuracy and decision-making. When you watched that game yesterday, did that look like a guy that was comfortable? Did that look like a guy that was ready to lead this team in every sort of weather? He looked so miserable yesterday. Nobody wants to say that. Sitting there on the sidelines. You want to talk about stoicism and talk about sitting there on the sidelines silent? There was more shots of Baker doing that yesterday than Todd Bowles, but nobody's got the balls to say anything about that in Tampa Bay because you think it makes you look like a hypocrite because the guy was an MVP candidate in the beginning of the year. He's got to play better. I don't give a shit if he's hurt or not. If you're that hurt, then don't play. He's not going to use that as an excuse. He's got to be better. You got to call a spade a spade. If you're talking about the Buccaneers and you're not including Baker Mayfield and why this team has not played good the past couple of weeks, you're lying to yourself and you're scared of pissing people off. I'm not scared of shit. It's not personal. I love the energy. I love what he's been able to do as the quarterback position. He's going to tell you this more. He's more pissed about his performance than I am. But I'm going to keep it real. Baker Mayfield, and again, nobody's looking into this because everybody wants to give him a pass. Everybody. Did you know that Baker Mayfield, listen, open your ears. Did you know that Baker Mayfield has a lower completion percentage this year than Jackson Dart, Jacoby Brissett, Bryce Young? Wait for these next two. Justin Fields. Have you seen some of his stat lines this year for the Jets? Have you seen them? He's got a higher completion percentage than Baker Mayfield. And the last guy that I'm going to mention was the guy that was under center for the New Orleans Saints yesterday. Tyler Shough. Now, is the completion percentage the end-all, be-all? No. Do I care if you're number one in the league? No. But if you're below those five guys, sometimes there's an aberration, and there's a guy that, hey, he only throws 4-yard passes. Of course, whatever. One guy, it's not that big of a deal. Those five, a rookie in Dart, a guy in Fields who has some of the worst stat lines we've ever seen, Jacoby Brissett, who was an option here, Bryce Young, who people were talking about was a bust until this year, and Tyler Shough, the quarterback of a team that was 2-10. So when everybody is out there talking about this is Todd's problem or this is on the players, make sure you include number 6. Because this team is only going to go as far, and I've said this from the beginning of the season. It's part of the reason why I felt so good about this team early on. This team is only going to go as far as his leaders take them. But when I look at this team right now, Jason Licht did not do a good enough job of fortifying this defense. Baker Mayfield has not played good, whether it's injury induced or what. Okay, fine. It is what it is. If he's out there, I don't ever like hearing that about injuries. Well, he's injured and he's hurt and he's banged up and blah, blah, blah. That's not an excuse. If you're good enough to be out there, injuries are not an excuse. You got to play. Here's the other thing. When you're watching that game yesterday and you're talking about, oh, the third downs and blah, 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 and you just got to get them here. And if you did this and if you did that, did it really look like at any point yesterday that this Buccaneers team was going to stop that Saints team on third down? At all. And look at the pressure. And look at we have so many caveats when it comes to Tampa Bay sports. It's crazy. Ifs and buts were candies and nuts and all these different things. And if my aunt had an Adam's apple, she'd be my uncle. Well, who cares? Zero-sum business. It's black and white. There's no gray area today. Black, white. That's it. You're good or you're not good. The Bucs are not good. And it's sad because there was a lot of people that were wondering in the beginning of the season, when you win that many close games, is there something special? Is there something different about this team? Guess not. Smoke and mirrors. Ian and I have been talking about that from the beginning of the season. When you win games like you do in the beginning of the season, when you win games like that, when you snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, you either use that to catapult you throughout the season until you form that identity, and then you're firing on all cylinders as you get into the postseason, or you get exposed. You want to call it luck, whatever. But there's so much blame to go around for this team. I don't want to hear that it's this or that. I don't want to hear about the injuries. I don't want to hear about that. Well, if Josh Grizzard had this, he doesn't. So what are you going to do? You know what good teams don't do? They don't complain about injuries. They don't complain about the guys that are not there. Everybody gets pissed off about the next man up mentality. So how come we don't use that in our rationale when we're judging teams? There's other teams out there that win. Go look at the standings. Look at some of those guys. It's the National Football League. No team goes throughout the season scot-free, injury-free. It doesn't happen. The NFL stands for not for long. Some of the best teams in the NFL, what you do is how to mitigate. How do you get around some of the Buccaneers didn't have, everybody talks about the Chiefs didn't have this offensive line in the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers were without their starting right guard in the Super Bowl. Vita Vea was coming back after he broke his leg. And he was able to come back. You think he was 100%? All the excuses about the Buccaneers and everybody that, listen, again, I've been a staunch supporter of Todd Bowles. And it's ironic that everybody wants to come out with their pitchforks and now they want to get rid of him. I can't even defend Todd Bowles. I can't. You're not putting your players in a position to succeed. Your coaching staff, listen, Todd Bowles and Jason Licht, they decided together to bring Josh Grizzard in after Liam Cohen. You have to wear that. You had a lot of guys healthy yesterday, and I know you lost them throughout the game, but even early on, it didn't look like they could stop a freaking nosebleed yesterday. It was Tyler Shuck. I thought shucking is something you do to oysters, but no. He's just a guy that waltzed right into Raymond James Stadium yesterday and punked the Buccaneers. The Saints punked the Bucs. What does that say about Tampa Bay? If you get punked in the rain by a 2-10 team, I have no sympathy, empathy for you whatsoever. You don't look like a good team. You don't look like a great team. You don't look like a playoff team. You look like a golf team. You look like you're going to be hitting the links with the Giants and the Jets and everybody else. I got more slices of cake, slices of blame cake to hand out later on